Hi, my name is Molly Simon with Thompson History Crash Course, and today's topic is the Renaissance. Is it something that actually happened? Was it an event in history? Or was it something about the Ninja Turtles? I don't know. Let's get into it.
The Renaissance was a revival of Greek knowledge with massive flow from the Islamic world. This was due to the fact that the whole bubonic plague had affected so many of Italy, France, southern Spain, northern Africa. The whole Renaissance it literally means rebirth. And the whole time period was just recovery. Because so many people had died, this brought up so many wonderful things like art, architecture, and that's why when it was actually happening, it wasn't spread worldwide. It was only around that area. And that's why it wasn't given the name Renaissance until much later. The bubonic plague was also known as the Black Death. That's how most people recognize it as. The people affected were very delirious, and it traveled by sea. It got here by sea, but it was passed through fleas and rats. It was really, really gross. And the people affected were delirious. They could not keep food down. And the reason it's called the Black Death is because all these mysterious boils would bubble up on their skin, and they would ooze out blood and pus. What a brilliant thing. Unfortunately, it killed over 1/3 of Europe, which was about roughly 20 million people.
During the so-called Renaissance era, there was a lot of things that went on with trade. With the Ottoman Empire, the Venetians, there was a lot of trade going on, which caused the Venetians to become very popular and very, very wealthy. The Venetians would trade things like painting and pepper with the Ottomans, while the Ottomans traded alum. And this created wealth within the Venetians, and the economy grew and sailing was better. Meanwhile, though, the roads were very busy and they had a lot of traders. One of the most important and influential families of the Renaissance was called the Medici family, also known as the House of Medici. They attained their power and political strength in Florence in the 13th century through its succession in commerce and banking. Beginning in 1432 with the rise of the power of Cosimo de' Medici, or Cosimo the Elder, the family supported the arts and humanities made in Florence into the cradle of the Renaissance, a culturally flowering revival only by that of the ancient Greece. The Medicis produced 4 popes, and they also made a big impact on the Catholic Church. And their genes have been mixed into many of the Europe's royal families. The last Medici ruler died without a male heir in 1737, ending the family dynasty after almost 3 centuries. Another very important and influential figure of the Renaissance was Copernicus.
Miss Simon, I remember learning about that in Miss Page's class last year.
Okay, go ahead.
Copernicus was born February 19, 1473 and died March 24, 1543. Copernicus taught many people the word heliocentric, which means the sun is the center of the solar system. This later on became the Copernican revolution.
Good job, me from the past. Now, let's talk about Joan of Arc.
Hey, I remember hearing her in Girl Meets World.
Okay, go ahead, again.
Joan of Arc was an ordinary girl from France, and she had a vision from God, telling her that she was going to lead a war that lasted 100 years, hence the name 100-Year-Long War.
Good job, me from the past. Now, let's go to Draw My Lab to learn more about the arts and humanities of the Renaissance.
Art rose within the Renaissance as many artists created masterpieces. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello were the main 4, and their work still exists around the world. The Last Supper is one of the most iconic pieces as it shows Jesus with his 12 disciples for the last time. Literature arose as well as Shakespeare with world-renowned plays like Romeo and Juliet. Architecture seemed to return to the Roman era as within the arches and Corinthian columns. Now to Molly for the Spanish Inquisition.
The Spanish Inquisition, in a nutshell, is Queen Isabel and King Ferdinand got married. They established an absolute monarchy, and they wanted territorial, political, and religious unity. There was no religious tolerance, so in 1492, Jews and non-converts were expelled. So if you didn't convert, you'd probably die or get tortured, but either way, it didn't very end with you. Now it's time for the mystery document. Throw it to me when you're ready, Lexi.
This word cannot be understood as referring to the sacrament of penance, that is, confession and satisfaction as administered by the clergy. Yet it does not mean solely inner repentance. Such inner repentance is worthless unless it produces various outward mortification of the flesh.
Isn't that the Declaration of Independence?
Actually, it was the 95 Thesis, which was posted by Martin Luther on a church, which he unintentionally started the Protestant Reformation, which ended the Renaissance. So, if you want to learn more about the Renaissance and the Protestant Reformation, come back next week.